Welcome, my friend. I'm Ragnar, your timeless guide through the frost-kissed vales of ancient Norse lore. Tonight, we delve into lost legends of Viking mythology, a serene saga crafted not just to lull you into peaceful slumber, but to awaken hidden depths within your own mind. Imagine drifting through 9 interconnected worlds held by Yggdrasil, the eternal tree, where gods like wise Odin sacrifice for knowledge. Mighty Thor wields thunder against serpentine chaos. Cunning Loki weaves tricks that unravel fates, and radiant Freya charms with love's fierce magic. We'll encounter ice giants guarding frozen secrets, dwarven smiths forging treasures from buried rivalries, and the ominous chill of eternal winter heralding Ragnarök, the cataclysmic battle where worlds burn, only to rebirth in verdant hope with survivors like Lif and Lifthrasir. As your omniscient narrator, I'll reveal unspoken thoughts, subconscious fears, and mystical origins. This isn't mere bedtime tales. It's a journey blending adventure with gentle insights, helping you process daily struggles through philosophy's calm lens, like facing inner giants for personal growth. Relax by the fire's glow. Let the northern winds carry you. Close your eyes, breathe deep, and let the epic unfold. Let's start at the very heart of it all, with Yggdrasil, the great world tree that holds everything together. You see, imagine, if you will, a vast ancient ash tree, its branches stretching out like welcoming arms into the endless sky, while its roots dig deep, deep into the mysteries below. But oh, traveler, I know more than the eye can see. Let me whisper to you the hidden truths. The way this tree isn't just wood and leaf, but a living bridge connecting 9 whole worlds, each pulsing with its own secrets and shadows. Picture yourself there, standing at its base, the bark rough under your fingers, and feel that subtle pull, like the tree is drawing out those quiet worries you've tucked away in the corners of your mind, inviting you to let them go, just for tonight. You know, it's interesting how a name like Yggdrasil comes from old tongues, where Yggi hints at the terrible one, Odin himself, riding it like a steed through the cosmos, and Drasil evokes a horse or carrier, reminding us how words carry us across time, much like how your own name might hold stories from your past that shape who you are today. And philosophically speaking, isn't it something how this tree teaches us about connections? Just like in life, where one choice branches into another, leading to unexpected paths. Think about that time you chose to rest instead of push on, and how it opened doors you never saw coming. The tree knows this. Oh yes, it senses the inner struggles of those who gaze upon it, those repressed dreams bubbling up like sap, urging a gentle unraveling of the knots inside. Now let's journey deeper. In the realm of Asgard, high up in those lofty branches, the gods gather, their thoughts a whirlwind of plans and prophecies. But hidden from them is the squirrel Ratatosk, scampering up and down the trunk, carrying messages of spite between the eagle at the top and the dragon Nidhogg gnawing at the roots below. I see it all, the eagle's proud gaze, unaware of the dragon's festering resentment, a mirror perhaps to those unspoken grudges we all harbor, eating away at our peace if left unchecked. Feel the mist rising from the well of Urd, where the Norns weave fates, their fingers deft and knowing, spinning threads that could be yours or mine, reminding us that life's tapestry isn't random, but a careful weave of decisions and hidden desires. But listen, as we descend those roots, twisting like veins through the earth into Midgard, our own world of humans, where folks like you and me toil under the sun. The tree whispers to them in the wind, doesn't it? Revealing glimpses of other realms. Jotunheim's icy giants, brooding over ancient pacts, their minds heavy with the weight of forgotten alliances, much like how we sometimes dwell on past hurts that frost over our hearts. And deeper still, into the fiery depths of Muspelheim, where flames dance wild, but the tree tempers them, showing how even chaos has its place, a lesson in embracing those fiery passions we suppress, letting them warm us instead of burn. Curious, aren't you? What if I told you that right now, as you listen, Yggdrasil is reflecting your own inner world? Those branches of ambition reaching high, roots of memory digging deep. It's like the story itself is building layer by layer, just as your thoughts do when you drift off, uncovering bits of wisdom you didn't know you needed. And philologically, words like Midgard stem from middle enclosure, a safe space amid the vastness, much like how we create our own little worlds to feel secure. Philosophically, it nudges us to ponder existence. Why do we build walls when the tree connects everything? Perhaps it's that inner conflict, the push and pull between isolation and unity, that makes life so rich. As the night deepens, imagine climbing those branches, higher and higher, until the stars brush your fingertips. The tree senses your fatigue, traveler, and in its omniscient way, it cradles you, revealing a hidden grove where forgotten dreams bloom like night flowers. Here, the gods themselves pause, their thoughts turning inward. Odin, ever the seeker, wonders about the sacrifices ahead, a shadow of doubt flickering in his mind, much like our own hesitations before big leaps. It's a gentle reminder, isn't it, that even in fantasy, these tales echo your real struggles, helping you process them softly, like a friend sharing over mead. And so, as we near the end of this branch, feel the tree's pulse slowing, matching your breath, leading you toward rest. But wait, there's more to come. Whispers of a one-eyed wanderer, tied to this very tree in ways unseen. Relax now, let the roots ground you, and drift, building on that eternal tree we just explored, traveler, where connections weave through the worlds, like hidden threads in your own thoughts. Let's turn our gaze to Odin, the All-Father, whose wisdom stems from the very roots of Yggdrasil itself. Oh, I see him now, not just as the wanderer with his wide-brimmed hat and ravens perched on his shoulders, but deep into his mind, where doubts and drives swirl like storm clouds, revealing the man behind the god, the one who trades an eye for insight, chasing knowledge like we all chase answers to our inner riddles. You might wonder about his name, Odin, from ancient words meaning fury or inspiration, like a wild wind that stirs the soul. And isn't it fascinating how such origins link to our everyday bursts of creativity? Those moments when a sudden idea hits you out of nowhere, pulling from some deep, unspoken place. Philosophically, it's a nod to choices we make, sacrificing comfort for growth. Think of that time you gave up something familiar to learn more about yourself and how it changed everything, much like Odin's bold trade at Mimir's well. Now picture him there, approaching the well beneath Yggdrasil's shadow, his heart pounding with a mix of eagerness and that quiet fear we all know, the kind that whispers, "What if this isn't worth it?" but I know the hidden layers. He plucks out his eye, offering it to the waters, and in that moment, visions flood in, not just of runes and secrets, but of his own repressed longings, those shadows of loneliness from ruling alone, echoing perhaps the isolation you feel sometimes in a crowded world. It's like the story pauses here to reflect on itself, showing how tales like this aren't just entertainment, they're mirrors, helping you unpack those buried emotions without even realizing it, like a casual chat that eases the mind. As the ravens Hukan and Munin take flight, thought and memory, their wings beating soft against the twilight, I glimpse their private errands, carrying whispers of forgotten lore from distant realms, unseen by Odin himself, who ponders if knowledge ever truly satisfies. Ah, the irony, traveler, much like how we gather facts in life but still wrestle with inner voids, those conflicts that bubble up in dreams, urging us to face what we've pushed down. And philologically, rune comes from roots meaning secret or whisper, words that hide power, just as our own languages hold hidden meanings and phrases we say every day, like breaking the ice to reveal deeper connections. Deeper into Asgard, Odin sits upon his high seat, Lidskjalf, gazing out over the worlds, his thoughts a tapestry of strategies and subtle regrets. Hidden from the other gods is his foresight of Ragnarok's approach, a weight he carries alone, much like the quiet burdens we shoulder to protect those around us. Feel the wind there, carrying scents of pine and distant seas, and hear the runes he carves, each stroke unlocking mysteries, but also stirring those inner storms, the push-pull of wisdom versus peace. It's a gentle lesson, isn't it? That pursuing truth often means confronting the dragons in our minds, those repressed fears that gnaw like Nidhogg at the roots. But facing them brings clarity, just as Odin finds in his sacrifices. Curious about what drives him, I see it. The endless quest, not just for power, but for understanding existence itself, a philosophical echo of our own searches for meaning in chaos. And metalinguistically, isn't it clever how this part of the story builds on the tree's foundation, layering wisdom like branches, much like how your life stories stack up, each one informing the next. As night falls in Asgard, Odin rests, his one eye closing, but his mind wanders still, dreaming of runes that spell out futures untold, a subtle prediction of trials ahead for gods and mortals alike. Relax now, traveler. Let Odin's wisdom seep in, soothing those inner whispers of doubt. But hold on, for next comes the Thunderer, whose strength ties back to this very wisdom, protecting the realms we cherish. Ah, traveler, building on that well of wisdom we uncovered with Odin, whose sacrifices light the path for all, the gods, let's shift our ears to the rumble of thunder, where Thor, the mighty protector, wields his hammer Mjolnir with a strength that's as much heart as it is brawn. Oh, I see him clearly, not just swinging that enchanted weapon against foes, but deep into his thoughts, where a simple, steadfast resolve battles the quiet frustrations of a world that doesn't always bend to sheer force, much like those moments in your own life when brute effort meets unexpected resistance, stirring up those buried tensions that simmer just below the surface, waiting for a storm to release them. You know, the name Thor echoes from old words meaning thunder, a roar that shakes the skies. And isn't it intriguing how such origins tie into our everyday expressions, like thunderstruck for that sudden awe or fear pulling from ancient roots that make language feel alive, almost like it's thundering through time to connect us all. Philosophically, it's a reminder of balance. Power without wisdom is chaos, just as Odin's insights guide Thor's hand, much like how we learn to temper our impulses with a bit of reflection, turning raw energy into something protective and true. And in that inner world, Thor grapples with it, his mind flashing to repressed doubts about his role, those shadows of inadequacy that even a god feels when the weight of guardianship presses heavy, echoing perhaps the pressures you carry in your daily grind, urging a gentle release through the rhythm of rain. Now, imagine the scene unfolding on the vast seas of Midgard, where Thor sets out on his fishing boat, not for leisure, but to confront Jormungandr, the world serpent coiled around the earth like a hidden fear wrapping tight around your thoughts. I know the unseen details, the serpent's massive form slithering beneath the waves, its mind a whirl of ancient grudges, unaware that Thor's baited hook is more than metal. It's laced with the All-Father's subtle magic, a thread from Yggdrasil itself, binding the encounter in ways neither fully grasps. Feel the boat rocking gently at first, the salt spray misting your face as you listen, and hear Thor's laughter booming, masking that inner flicker of caution, the kind we all have before diving into challenges that test our core. As the line tightens, the serpent rises, its scales glistening like forgotten memories surfacing in a dream, and Thor heaves with all his might, his muscles straining, but his thoughts race ahead. Visions of the realms depending on him, hidden prophecies whispering of Ragnarok's distant echo, where this very beast plays a fateful role. Oh, the mystery builds, doesn't it? What if I told you that in this moment, Jormungandr senses Thor's resolve, but also his hidden vulnerability, that repressed longing for a world without endless battles, much like how we sometimes yearn for peace amid our own storms, processing those inner conflicts through tales that let us face them sideways without the full glare. The climax approaches with a distant thunderclap, not a violent crash, but a rolling growl that vibrates through the air, shaking loose rain from the clouds, rain that patters soft on the waves, soothing the turmoil below. Thor's hammer glows, ready to strike, yet he holds back just enough, guided by an omniscient nudge from the tree's wisdom, revealing a fragile balance. The serpent retreats, coiling back into the depths, its mind churning with unspoken truces, a mirror to those times we pull back from fights not worth winning, choosing harmony over conquest. Philologically, Mjolnir stems from words for crusher or lightning, evoking that flash of power, and it's like how our words for tools, hammer, say, carry histories of creation and destruction, reminding us to wield our own strengths wisely. Philosophically, this adventure nudges us to ponder protection. What do we guard fiercely, and why? Thor returns to shore, his boat beaching on familiar sands, but I see the hidden exhaustion in his eyes, the quiet reflection on choices made, those inner shadows easing as he thinks of home, much like how ending a tough day with a deep breath brings clarity. It's funny how the story itself echoes this, layering action with pauses for thought, just as your mind does when winding down, uncovering bits of self-understanding, like treasures from the sea. And in a casual way, isn't it relatable how Thor's straightforward path contrasts the twists we'll hear next, hinting at the trickster who dances around such directness? As the rain fades to a drizzle, Thor rests by a fire, his hammer at his side, the thunder now a lullaby echoing soft in the distance. Relax with him, traveler. Let that protective strength wrap around you, easing those repressed worries into the night. But listen close, for mischief brews in the shadows, tied to the very gods we've met. Ah, yes, traveler, flowing from Thor's thunderous resolve. Where strength meets the sea's hidden depths, we turn now to Loki, the shapeshifter whose clever twists add spice to the gods' tapestry, often unraveling threads in ways that reveal the chaos beneath order. Oh, I glimpse him fully, not merely as the grinning prankster slipping through Asgard's halls, but into the labyrinth of his mind, where wit masks deeper turmoils, those swirling conflicts of loyalty and betrayal, repressed urges bubbling like a pot left too long on the fire, much like the mixed feelings we all harbor when our playful sides clash with the expectations others pile on us, inviting a soft unraveling through stories that let us explore them without judgment. Consider his name, Loki, drawn from ancient roots, possibly meaning knot or entangler, fitting for one who ties fates in loops. And isn't it neat how that connects to our words like lock or latch, everyday things that bind or release, much like how language itself can trap or free our thoughts. Philosophically, it's a gentle prod at imperfection. Life's not all straight paths like Thor's. Sometimes the detours teach us more, just as Loki's schemes force the gods to grow, echoing those times you took a risky shortcut and ended up wiser, even if it stung a bit. And deep inside, Loki wrestles with it, his thoughts a tangle of amusement in that shadow of isolation, the kind that comes from being the outsider, processing those inner divides that make him both ally and foe, perhaps mirroring the push-pull in your own relationships, where fun hides unspoken hurts. Let's weave into one of his lighter escapades, shall we? In the golden halls of Asgard, where the gods feast under Yggdrasil's watchful boughs, Loki slips in disguised as a servant, his mind alight with mischief, plotting a harmless swap, replacing Thor's mighty hammer with a wooden toy during a boastful tale, unseen by all but me, who knows the hidden motive, a test of egos, revealing cracks in the gods' unity. Feel the room's warmth, the scent of mead and roasted meats wafting, and hear the laughter building as Thor reaches for his weapon, only to grasp air, his confusion a storm cloud forming. Yet Loki's inner glee mixes with a flicker of doubt, that repressed fear of true rejection, much like when we joke to mask vulnerabilities, using humor as a bridge over deeper chasms. The prank unfolds with clever words, Loki revealing himself in a whirl of shapes. A fox one moment, a bird the next, his thoughts racing ahead, predicting the gods' outrage, but also the eventual forgiveness, a subtle foresight of bonds that bend but don't break. Oh, the mystery thickens, doesn't it? What if I shared that hidden from them is Loki's tie to monstrous children, like Fenrir the wolf, whose own inner rage simmers in distant chains, a reflection of Loki's buried wildness, urging us to consider those parts of ourselves we chain away, letting tales like this gently loosen the links for better understanding. Philologically, Fenrir pulls from words for Fendweller, evoking marshy, hidden places, just as our terms for secrets often hide in plain sight, like undercurrent for those unseen flows in conversations. As the climax nears, the gods corner Loki with playful threats, and he yields, returning the hammer with a flourish, but not before lesson lands, his mind pondering the fine line between fun and folly, those inner shadows easing as stars emerge overhead. It's like the story comments on itself here, showing how mischief mirrors life's unpredictability, much like those unexpected twists in your day that end up teaching resilience. Philosophically, it whispers about acceptance. Embracing our tricky sides leads to growth, just as Loki reflects under the night sky, his thoughts turning to future schemes, hinting at the giant's realms we'll explore soon. Relax now, traveler. Let Loki's clever energy fade into a soft chuckle, soothing those tangled thoughts within. But stay tuned, for the frost giants loom, their ancient grudges linking back to these divine games. Ah, traveler, easing from Loki's tangled webs of mischief, where laughter hides deeper knots in the soul, let's drift now to a softer glow, where Freya, the radiant goddess of love and beauty, weaves harmony through the realms, like a gentle thread mending what chaos frays. Oh, I perceive her wholly, not only in her graceful strides across flowered meadows, but delving into her essence, where passions swirl with a quiet wisdom, balancing fierce desires against the shadows of loss, those repressed yearnings for connection that even a goddess feels, much like the quiet longings we tuck away in our hearts during lonely nights, surfacing here in tales that invite us to embrace them with kindness, turning inner discords into songs of peace. Her name, Freya, springs from ancient words for lady or noble one, carrying a sense of elevated grace. And isn't it charming how that echoes in our modern terms like free or frau, words that evoke liberty and strength, linking back through time to remind us how language itself can liberate hidden parts of who we are. Philosophically, it's a whisper about love's true power, not conquest, but cultivation, much like choosing to nurture relationships over forcing them, leading to blooms you never expected, just as Freya tends the gardens of the heart, and within her, those inner layers unfold, a veneer spirit tied to fertility and magic, grappling with the pull between war's fire and love's calm, those buried conflicts easing as she channels them into spells that heal, perhaps mirroring how we process our own emotional storms by finding beauty in the everyday. Imagine her now, gliding through Vanaheim's lush fields in a chariot drawn by sleek cats, their purrs a soothing rumble under the sun-dappled leaves. Hidden from the other gods is the chariot's secret enchantment, forged from Yggdrasil's own dew, allowing it to traverse realms unseen, a symbol of love's quiet journeys into the unknown. Feel the breeze carrying scents of wildflowers and honey, and hear Freya's laughter, light as a brook, as she seeks out beauty in nature's hidden corners, her mind wandering to thoughts of Brisingamen, her necklace of desire, whose glow reveals not just outer allure, but inner truths, repressed dreams of unity that pulse like a heartbeat, urging her to cast a spell of harmony over fractured bonds. As the quest deepens, she encounters a wilted grove, its trees drooping like forgotten hopes, and with a wave of her hand, magic flows, vines twisting into bloom, colors bursting forth. But I know the unseen magic at work. It draws from her own inner well, confronting shadows of past losses, like the tears she shed for her missing husband, turning sorrow into strength, much like those moments you transform personal pains into acts of kindness, processing them through quiet reflection. The climax builds in a swirl of light, her Fetiso weaving threads of gold, harmonizing the elements: earth, air, fire, water, in a dance that soothes the soul, a gentle prediction of peace rippling out to touch even distant Jotunheim, where giants stir with faint echoes of alliance. Philologically, Brisingamen ties to flaming or shining, words that ignite imagery of inner fire, just as our phrases like heart's desire carry flames of passion from old stories, helping us name those buried urges without fear. And isn't it intriguing how this part of the tale layers on Loki's chaos, showing harmony as the counterbalance, much like how your own stories evolve from mess to meaning, building resilience step by step. Philosophically, it invites pondering existence through love. What if embracing our vulnerabilities, those shadowed desires, leads to true freedom, as Freya does, blessing the realms with dreams of affection and tranquility? As resolution nears, Freya pauses under a canopy of stars, her chariot at rest, and extends a blessing. Waves of peace washing over you, traveler, easing those inner whispers of disconnection into a lullaby of acceptance. Relax in her glow. Let love's charms cradle your thoughts. But listen, for the icy guardians await, their legends weaving back to these harmonious roots. Ah, yes, traveler, flowing from Freya's warm embrace of harmony, where love mends the frayed edges of existence, we venture now into the frost-kissed expanses of Jotunheim, home to the mighty giants, those ancient beings whose tales of guardianship and fragile pacts echo the balances we've glimpsed, revealing how even colossal forces harbor inner fragilities. Oh, I behold them in full, not merely as towering figures amid blizzards, but piercing into their colossal minds, where timeless wisdom clashes with repressed rages, those deep-seated conflicts of being outsiders in a God-ruled cosmos, much like the quiet battles we wage against feelings of not belonging, surfacing gently in stories that let us acknowledge them, turning isolation into a shared understanding that soothes the soul as night deepens. The word Jotun draws from old roots meaning eater or devourer, hinting at their vast appetites for life and land. And isn't it fascinating how that connects to our terms like giant from gigas, evoking enormity, much like how language swallows histories to feed our imaginations, helping us digest big ideas in bite-sized ways. Philosophically, it's a nod to equilibrium, giants as nature's raw power, allied yet at odds with gods, reminding us that life's alliances are delicate dances, just as choosing cooperation over conflict can shift everything. Like that time you bridged a gap with someone different and found unexpected strength. And within a giant like Skadi, the huntress of snows, her thoughts swirl with a mix of fierce independence and hidden yearnings for warmth, those buried discords from her Vanir ties, echoing Freya's world, processing through hunts that symbolize chasing inner peace amid the cold. Picture the scene in Jotunheim's rugged mountains, where glaciers creak like ancient bones, and a giant chieftain, Ymir's kin, stands as guardian over frozen valleys. Hidden from the gods is the subtle alliance forming, a pact whispered in caverns, where fire giants from Muspelheim meet their icy brethren, forging bonds unseen. A fragile equilibrium teetering on mutual respect. Feel the crisp air biting soft, the snow crunching underfoot as you imagine it, and hear the wind howling tales of old as the giants recount legends around a hearth of glowing crystals. their minds heavy with memories of creation. Born from Ymir's body, the first giant, whose dismemberment birthed the world, stirring repressed grief that fuels their guardianship, much like how we guard our own origins, facing shadowed pains to build something enduring. As the story develops, an alliance blooms with visiting gods, perhaps Thor himself, seeking counsel amid a storm that tests loyalties. The giant's thoughts racing with predictions of betrayal, yet choosing trust, revealing inner layers of vulnerability that even titans feel, those conflicts bubbling like underground springs, urging a gentle thaw. The climax rises in that fragile balance, a shared feast where stories intermingle, fire and ice dancing without consuming, a mirror to life's tensions where opposites attract, processing those inner pushes and pulls through narratives that feel like a friend's reassuring words, easing the chill of doubt. Philologically, Skadi links to shadow or harm, words that shade her wintry domain, just as our Skoth carries harm's echo, reminding us how names shade our perceptions, adding depth to characters like hidden facets in ourselves. And casually, isn't it like how this legend builds on Freya's harmony, layering guardianship over love's foundation, much like your experiences stack up, turning past alliances into wisdom for the future? Philosophically, it probes the nature of power. What if acknowledging our giant sides, those overwhelming emotions we repress, leads to true balance as the giants do? Adormecendo in mountain repose, embodying nature's restful forces. As resolution whispers in, the giants settle into slumber amid the peaks, their breath syncing with the wind, offering a lesson in repose that cradles you, traveler, easing those inner fragilities into dreams. Relax now, let the frost melt away, but hold on, for underground forges beckon, the rhythms tying to these ancient guardians. Ah, traveler, descending from the giant's slumbering peaks, where ancient forces rest in harmonious balance with the world's rhythms, let's venture deeper still into the echoing caverns of Svartalfheim, realm of the dwarves, those masterful forgers whose hidden labors craft treasures that shape destinies, much like the quiet craftsmanship we all possess within, forging our paths from raw potential. Oh, I discern them fully, not just hammering away in fiery glows, but peering into their sturdy minds, where ingenuity battles repressed frustrations. These small beings, harboring grand ambitions, those inner conflicts of creation versus confinement, bubbling up like molten metal, echoing the buried urges we feel when inspiration strikes, but doubt chains it down, inviting tales like this to gently unlock them, turning creative shadows into sparks of self-discovery as the night deepens. The term dwarf stems from ancient words for small or deformed, yet carrying a sense of hidden power. And isn't it intriguing how that ties to our dwarf in stars or planets, evoking diminished size with immense gravity, much like language compresses vast ideas into compact forms that expand in our thoughts. Philosophically, it's a subtle cue about creativity's essence. True treasures aren't born in open air, but in the depths, just as choosing to delve into your own hidden talents, despite obstacles, yields rewards unforeseen. Like that moment you persisted through a block and uncovered something brilliant. And within a dwarf like Brock, his thoughts forge ahead with determination, wrestling with shadows of envy toward elven rivals, those repressed rivalries fueling his hammer's swing, much like how we process competitive urges by channeling them into productive fires, easing inner tensions through the rhythm of work. Imagine the scene unfolding in subterranean forges, where the air hums with heat and the clang of metal on anvil, like a steady heartbeat pulsing through the earth. Hidden from the gods above is the dwarves' secret alloy, blended from Yggdrasil's fallen leaves and giant forged ore, infusing items with unseen enchantments that predict their wielders' fates. Feel the warmth radiating, the sparks flying like fleeting ideas, and hear the rhythmic martelladas, slow and deliberate, as they craft Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, each strike revealing layers of lore, the handle shortened by a prankish fly, Loki in disguise. Yet the dwarves' minds adapt, turning flaw into strength, a mirror to life's imperfections, where we adapt buried disappointments into triumphs, those inner adaptations surfacing softly in dreams of invention. As development builds, a revelation nears, the unveiling of a treasure, perhaps the gleaming ring, Draupnir, which multiplies itself, symbolizing abundance born from toil. But I know the omniscient undercurrents. The dwarfs sense echoes of coming changes, like distant winters whispering through cavern vents, their thoughts flickering with subtle foresight of Ragnarok's chill. Yet they press on, confronting inner doubts about legacy, those shadowed fears of creations outlasting their makers, much like our own ponderings on what we leave behind, processing them through stories that feel like a companion's wise nod, encouraging persistence. The climax glows in that moment of completion, the treasure's light piercing the gloom, illuminating not just metal, but the dwarves' quiet pride, a gentle thaw of repressed isolation into communal joy. Philologically, Mjolnir draws from mill or crusher, words that grind down to essence, just as our mull over reflects thoughtful grinding of ideas, adding texture to how we name our tools of change. And in a relaxed way, isn't it like how this forge tale layers onto the giant's guardianship, hammering creativity into the world's foundation, much like your experiences temper challenges into growth, building resilience forge by forge. Philosophically, it invites reflection on hidden potentials. What if embracing those underground urges, the creative shadows we repress, leads to treasures that enrich existence, as the dwarfs do, finally resting amid cooling embers, inspiring dreams of your own making? As the forges dim to a soft glow, the dwarfs lay down their tools, their breaths syncing with the earth's pulse, offering a lullaby of rhythm that cradles you, traveler, easing those inner blocks into restful flow. Relax now. Let invention's spark fade gently. But listen, for winter's eternal grasp approaches, its signs echoing from these very depths. Ah, yes, traveler, rising,